What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pilot Episode Podcast. I know we promised you me, Calvert, and Neil tonight. You got me, Calvert, and Perk. Neil, he's having some voice issues. You know, with all his time on the road, he's been singing in bars and stuff. So he's got a little scratchy throat. He's not going to be able to.
Is that what he's saying?
Something of that sort.
Yeah, I got a few ideas.
Oh God. Yeah, I just want to take the moment, like we've been doing the past few episodes, because it seems to be working. We really appreciate all the new subscribers we got. We really appreciate you guys watching. It's great. We're having a lot of fun, and we're glad you guys are watching. It just makes us want to keep doing it even more. Tonight, we've got Fallout. We're going to react to episode 2 of season 2. And Perk, this is where I'll let you and Calvert kind of take it away, and I'll just give some insight when it happens.
All right. Yeah. Overall, another good episode. I really enjoyed the episode. Right off the bat, I have a question for you, Calvert. Is this the quote of the guy that was coming up with the nuke? His quote of patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish there was for a nuclear winter.
Yes.
What's the significance to that? Is that from the games?
Yes, that is an Easter egg. For anybody that played in New Vegas, you know that like the NCR soldiers, which when you're watching Maximus's dad work on the water purifier, you see a troop of soldiers walk by, and one of them's wearing NCR Ranger gear. They have these awesome helmets with red eyes on them, and they're the baddest of the bad in the NCR. And so that the NCR soldiers, when you walk up and interact with them, they would just repeat that quote over and over. So that's like an Easter egg callback to Fallout New Vegas.
I do have one thing I want to say before we get into it too much. Once again, just like on our Landman episode last week, director gives us everything we're asking for. And here we are making our complaints from episode 1 of Fallout, and they give us everything we're asking for. It's like they're listening, guys. I don't know what it is, but...
Yeah, it is weird. Our big thing was that we wanted some Maximus, and this entire episode was Maximus pretty much for the most part. You know, we had probably 10 minutes of Lucy and the Ghoul, but most of this was Maximus, and I loved getting to see, like we've seen in the past that Maximus was the kid that survived that nuke, but that we get to see the lead up to it day of. And I love the quote from his dad that it can be tough out there, but as long as we leave it a little better than we found it, it'll be okay. I love that quote from his dad. And I feel like that's something that we'll hear from Maximus going forward at some point.
And we did with the it's like a call forward to what the dilemmas he's going to face later in the episode when he's dealing with the leader of his sector of the Brotherhood of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a foreshadow of everything that's happening to him in that episode, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. And I love the confidence that Maximus has now as a character, like how much he's grown. I don't know how much of a time jump there is between season 1 and season 2, because I know like we left season 2 on him being like, we thought he might have been dead at first.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how long of a jump there is in time, but he's grown a lot, and I really like it.
When we see him fighting the first fight scene where he's in the night suit or everything, and like you just see his faces, and it's almost like his give a shit has faded away, and he is just mad at the world.
He's a machine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another thing, Calvert, I actually talked to you about this a little bit earlier today, and you may be able to explain a little bit more into it. The particular scene where we were talking about with the Ghoul and Lucy and these what appeared to be scorpions, and you told me that
red scorpions, radiated red scorpions.
What was the stat you were telling me about those that makes them interesting?
Oh, dude, anybody's played the game in Perk, I don't know if you've ran across any, because Perk has ventured into Fallout 4, where all my Fallout friends get a laugh at this. Perk has gotten 15,000 views on Reddit for his text he sent me the other day, where he asked me if Fallout 4 was all about him saving settlements for this Preston Garvey guy. So anybody that's a game nerd is going to laugh at that. And he fell for it. He ran around for 4 hours.
4 entire hours. 4 entire hours. I have wasted more time on Preston Garvey than I have gotten to do in quests in the game itself. I played for 7 hours.
Yeah, we've all been there. The rad scorpion can get up to like the size of a car, and they can travel underground faster than they can just about move on ground. Anybody that's ever played the game knows you just can't get away from them unless you get on top of a building or kill them or just run insane distances without stopping. They're very pesky. They're very pesky.
I've not ran into them. I've ran into the mole rats, which act in a similar way to what you're saying. Like they go underground and like come back up in that similar way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know exactly what it was at first, but I knew something was up whenever the ghoul tried. He killed old buddy and then like took a bite of him or drink of him or whatever, and he spit it out. I knew something was fixing to happen at that point.
Yeah, he had like a pussy neon green mark on his back, indicating he had been stung by the radiscorpion. So that was the poison in his blood when that guy, did that. So yeah, there's actually a lot of significance in that scene. If you want me to go from there,
yeah.
So like those two people that you're seeing, they're definitely. I can't remember back to the game, but I feel like they were Legion. Seeing how the episode played out, that was like kind of the attire of the Legion slaves. Like the ghoul. So in my opinion, the ghoul knew who they were the whole time. And that's why he was making the references he was about, the tunic, and he was being. Mm-hmm. And when they seen him, the girl, when she looked at him, I don't know if it was because he was a ghoul or if she knew the legend of him. But like, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but like, I'll just set the base for this episode. This episode was called The Golden Rule, right? Mm-hmm. So this episode's all about Lucy's morality, and it's all about who the ghoul is, and it's all about teaching you the Brotherhood's mentality, and then it introduces us to the Legion. So anybody that played Fallout New Vegas knows that the game ends in a huge battle between like the NCR, Brotherhood, or whoever in the Legion. I can't remember all the details. It's been 10 years, but so when you're introduced to the Legion, that's like a big thing. So what we're seeing in this episode at that point is the ghoul knows what she's about to get herself into, and he's making her make a decision like stim pack me, which he was going to live anyway, or save the girl. And I can only imagine, like by the later in the episode, as she's walking up to the legionary camp and she's about to be taken in as possibly a slave, that he's probably sitting back at that building just laughing, thinking, she'll see what that morality gets her, she'll see what the golden rule gets her.
And that girl said something that kind of concerned me, talking about she wouldn't want the wrong person to rape her.
Yeah.
The wrong person.
Wow.
Like it's going to happen.
The right person.
Yeah, well, that's the wasteland for you. More sadly for women, I'm sure. Yeah.
And then you get a little bit of Lucy's innocence when the girl runs away, and then her first reaction is fudge.
I'm nice.
I'm nice.
People, I'm nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what we're going to see, guys, from that is Lucy's going to get. Well, if you've seen it in season 1, she started out super naive, vault dweller. She's been drank the Kool-Aid of the lying facade that Vault Tech is, and how the world's going to be, and all this garbage. The ghoul is hundreds of years in the wasteland. He has killed so many, lost so much. He's hundreds of years old, wandering around out there. He knows what the world is, and he's way far off on the pessimistic, or some people might say, reality of it. And he's really a product of it. And so I think she's probably going to pull him towards the way she is, but he's definitely going to pull her towards that way. And I felt like we've seen it in season 1, but she has kind of doubled back on being a good person anyways here in episode 1 and 2. And I think that's what they're doing here, setting the foundation for maybe, it kind of took me off guard when he just kind of slit dude's throat. I was like, oh.
And Lucy says something about him finding his family, and they're not going to enjoy the person he is when they do.
Right. So they're working on each other.
He kind of shuts down a little bit when she says that. I feel like he has the goal of finding his family, but deep down he knows they're not there anymore. In a way, if that makes sense, because like his demeanor changes a little bit when she mentions his family.
Yeah.
I think by the end of this, and I could be wrong here, I think by the end of this, somehow she, unless they off him, I think somehow she will become his family. This little posse that they've got going. Maybe
I thought they were going to do it with the scorpion thing. I don't know like how resistant ghouls are to stuff like this. Like I didn't know like if that was like a serious thing, like she was having to pick between the two, and one was going to live, one was going to die. I didn't know the whole situation, but when when she said you were going to live anyway, I was like, oh, okay, maybe not, but. I think if he does go, it's going to be a lot bigger of a moment than that. But they could go the like Walking Dead route and just off somebody without you thinking that it's going to happen, because some shows do it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Another big scene that we briefly touched on earlier, or not on the show but off the show. We were talking about Norm when he frees all the what was the people who from Vault Tech who were in the main vaults. They were going to be the future overseers, I guess you would call them. And he ends up convincing them that he is now going to be the guy in charge of them, which was very quick thinking, in my opinion, on his part.
Right.
And then you see the last thing you see of them is they get to the surface, and that's going to be very interesting because Norm's never been on the surface. None of them have ever been on the surface in this world. It's Norm's first time seeing the world. And so I think that's going to be pretty interesting. Are they going to, obviously, I feel like they're either going to make their way back to a vault and then there's going to be a big conflict that takes place, or they're going to run into some of these other characters somehow on the surface.
Yeah. My note on that was literally Norm's plan worked out so much better than we expected, because we thought when he hit that button that all hell was going to break loose, and it ended up being, he was able to twist it into working out for him.
He's quick on his feet. I'll give him that.
Well, see, one thing too, and it shows you like the idiocracy of these almost seem to be intern type corporate kids. And he pulls out these Band-Aids and calls them merits. And it's funny because like they'll do anything to climb the ladder. They'll do anything to be the next guy. That's why they signed up to get put in a cryogenic freezer and froze for hundreds of years. They'll do anything. And so he kind of gets on the amoral side of realizing that he can control them. But it seems to me like he kind of wants them to all survive. But I'm really interested to see on where that goes. They're either all going to get slaughtered. There's going to be one or two of them he becomes good friends with. I always try to look for like actors I've seen before. That's probably going to be the one that becomes significant. I didn't notice anybody, but yeah, he's kind of takes after his pops a little bit when it comes to putting on a front and line there.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, Hank is a master at it.
Yeah. And
did y'all notice? Sorry to cut you off, but when they came to the surface, all those people who were used to the old world, they were like, "Oh, this place sucks. The mall's not even there anymore."
Yeah.
And then he was standing there like, "It's beautiful."
Yeah.
Yes.
And talking about Hank, we see that he is continuing to do his test. He has leveled it up from rats to pulling some dude and blowing his head off now. And
I will say he did do his homework on the dude. And like he noticed that old buddy just completely left his wife and kids.
Yeah,
just signing up for it himself.
Which I mean, he has no moral high ground to stand on. But
very true. But I mean, like at least he didn't pick someone who was nice or whatever. But he picked some scumbag who left his wife and kids.
Yeah, and that actor, the guy that played the guy that he picked, I can't think of what his name is, but he was recognizable to me. I don't know who he was, but I recognized him.
It almost looked like Jocko Willing. I can't really kind of similar, but here's the whole thing. What his name? I'm drawing a blank. It's Hank. Right. All right. So Hank's whole thing, if you guys remember, was his goal was to get his family back together, to reconcile with Lucy and whatever. And that was his whole reason for blowing up Sandy Shores, because of his wife. She went there and wouldn't come back. All this stuff. The thing about Hank is it makes that scene ironic is that his whole goal is to get his family back together. So it's almost like he felt good with starting it with that guy. When that guy put his hands in the thing, when Norm told him to put his hands in the container, that is an Easter egg reference back to the Dune movie, where the dude is told to put his hands in the thing. So the people that watch Dune, you realize that's an Easter egg throwback. But with Hank, here's what Fallout does. And Herc, you're going to find out with this Fallout 4 storyline. Fallout is going to try to find a way to get you to sympathize or somewhat understand Hank, while at the same time the things that he's doing are so unredeemable that it's just ridiculous. like Maximus's father finding out how to have an unlimited water supply that's unradiated for all these survivors, and Hank blows them away. He seemingly shows half a second of remorse, and then he puts on his front and moves on. And that's what they want you to see. They want to leave a little glimpse of what if in the back of your mind. So just like the main character in these Fallouts, Lucy will be faced with a dilemma at some point at the end of her story, whether it's season 2 or 6 or 7 or whenever they catch him. But yeah, that's kind of how they're developing Hank. And they're also doing a lot of backstory with Hank having these mind devices. It's a lot of throwback to how the whole season started out with Robert House having these mind devices. And so that's what Hank's trying to do. But when we see Hank blow dude's head on the glass there, he says, well, I guess I'll just try again. Everybody in those cryo freezers are getting it. And I have a prediction that Hank will figure it out. Once he perfects it, I got a real big hunch. And I don't know this, so this ain't a spoiler, that Hank's going to put it on himself. And my hunch is that Robert House is still alive and he is going to either live through or control Hank and use Hank as a meat robot. See, that's Hank's whole plan. It also could be the other way, that Hank wants to perfect these devices, put these devices on everyone so it creates the perfect wasteland workforce, right? And so then he's probably going to, his plan is, so he's so psychotic, he might use it on his kids.
Right.
Because now he can control them. He couldn't control his wife. He may use it on his kids to control them. So there's no telling what. It wouldn't surprise me if Maximus or one of the other characters is going to have it on them, and Lucy and them are going to have a big battle to the death. You know, there's just so many ways they could go with it.
Which old buddy that delivered the nuke to the city, he had one on the back of the neck. So the technology was there for it to work at one point, but it's been lost over these 200 years.
Well, you've seen him die there. Like, you've seen him die there. So, like, the problem is no one's had that in their neck without dying yet. Nobody. And you see him die. He still got from point A to point B to deliver that. So, like, that's probably the best that they got it. And you wonder if Hank was the one, like, maybe we know he was like a scientist or whatever. He was involved in the making of this in the first place.
Yeah, I mean,
so he's got a baseline.
That's what they're setting it up to be.
Where, like, it said that the detonation was successful. So, like, he was clearly in the, pulling the strings on that thing.
Oh yeah, well, he had a pit boy back in his vault, like, where he's seen the detonation was successful. But Perk, I think that's exactly what they're trying to set up, is how close Hank and Robert House were in the past. We don't necessarily know yet, but they're leading it up to, they're building that relationship, and we've not seen a revealing of Robert House yet. We don't necessarily technically even know if Robert House is alive.
Right.
Hank may completely fill the shoes of who Robert House would have been if he'd have been alive, and he might even be worse.
I didn't think about it like that.
Yeah, I've spent a ridiculous amount of time today watching YouTube videos talking about this series. Like, some of the experiments that they did on the vault dwellers were freaking insane. I watched a 2-hour video today, and Drew, you know how I am with runtime on movies. It takes a lot for me to watch something that's 2 hours long.
Yeah, it does. Burke is not a fan of movies.
You got a list of these vaults and experiments?
I have not written it down, but there's some crazy ones in there, like, just like the one that sticks out to me, because it's the one that I watched a video on right before we started this, was one, can't remember what number it was, but they brought in all of the dwellers were like people that were, say, one family was communist, one family was pacifist, one family was like all these very different types of feelings and like how you should live, and they just threw them all in a box and was like, figure it out. And then there was another one where they built it under a middle school, and literally they took in all the kids from the middle school and their parents. They put the kids into like the far end of the vault, told the parents they were going to have an orientation to talk about how life was going to be in the vault, just killed the parents.
Yeah.
And then they raised the kids with the way they wanted to raise them. And if they were smart enough, they became scientists. If they were strong enough, they became like military. If they were deemed not to be good enough, they just killed the kids when they turned 18.
Yeah, my favorite too are the vault where they put 99 men and one woman in a vault. And what ended up happening was the men protected the woman. She was kind of like a queen, and the vault lived in harmony. And then there was one where they put 99 women and one man in the vault. And I think the dude ended up like not lasting long. He was like, forget this. But anyway, saying that to say this, what this vault is like the elites in this vault 30. What is it? 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
it's the elites.
33.
I think the irony of all this, guys, is that what you're seeing in Fallout is like corporate America on steroids, and this is what corporate America would do for money, and what these people would do for money. And they're doing these social experiments and just using people like rats in a tank where they can see if they can control them, and they're willing to make them die if they can't.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like corporate America, you know what I'm saying, on steroids. I think that's part of the irony of the whole thing.
Right.
You got any more notes over there, Bert?
I have a couple of them. I did want to mention the fight that Maximus has where he kills old buddy.
I didn't know he had it like that.
I don't know that he knew he had it like that. I think he was faced with death. He was like, "It's going to be you. It ain't going to be me."
Just kind of back to the mindset thing, man. Like he just walks around so casual now that like it's like he hates the world.
Yeah. And then another thing, I am super excited. The guy from the Commonwealth that comes off the helicopter, that's Kumail Nanjiani, and I love that guy.
Yeah,
he's a really great comedian. I've loved him since I was a kid. And
good actor as well.
Yeah,
I don't know if y'all have seen his new DirecTV commercial, but it's so funny.
Mm-mm.
He talks about DirecTV spicing it up right now, and he's like in like a wife beater and like a fur coat with big chains and stuff. It's very
good. Yeah, so he's in a movie called The Something. It's a Marvel movie. The Elementals. It's a Marvel movie. It's in the MCU. Like it happens, like maybe right before Wakanda Forever or whatever. Very, very good. Mm-hmm. Hey, if we're going on, if we're winging for stuff, I've got a big section before we get done. Like, won't take me long to explain, but I think it's very big about this episode.
I had one more question for you. It's not necessarily related to the TV show as much. Well, it is. So, like in Fallout 4 so far, scents have been a big thing. Have they introduced those in the TV show at all?
Well, you wouldn't know.
Right, you kind of wouldn't. Unless it was one of the earlier ones where they're like metal boxes flying around.
You wouldn't know, and unless someone's head gets blown away, I guess, but or they found whatever in their inner whatever the chip is or whatever, but you really wouldn't know. And the craziest part about it is, man, there was a big conspiracy that the main character in Fallout 4 was a synth. And if I remember right, your dog is a synth. I think his name's actually One, but they call him Dog Meat. And I think you don't find that out till later. So I'm sorry for spoiling that for you. I could be wrong on that. Have you found Dog Meat yet at the Red Rocket?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. You would never know. So am I good? Am I clear to go forward?
How about
it? This movie, like you guys mentioned, was big about the Brotherhood of Steel. And so it was huge. So, and I think they did it like this strategically. They needed to lay the ground of Robert House and all the stuff in episode 1. And they needed to, and I feel like they could have jammed it all in one episode, but it might not have captivated you. It might not have let people wait and be eager for it. And this one, they really get into the Brotherhood of Steel. So, ton of Easter eggs. When the Brotherhood of Steel get into that base, the Constitution is there, the original Constitution. The flag for the 13 Commonwealths, which is different than our American flag, obviously, because there's only 13 Commonwealths instead of 50 states, is there. The Ark of the Covenant is there. They don't care. The Ark of the Covenant from Indiana Jones is there in the scene, and they're not worried about it. They open a refrigerator, and one of the aliens that's called people forgive me, please, I'm having a brain fart, starts with a Z, a Zenith or a Centauri, I can't remember. That's always the aliens you fight in 76 and that you fight in New Vegas and all that. The aliens there. So this is Area 51, by the way, the space. And so there's an alien in a fridge. And they open the fridge and they're like, oh, this is awesome, a working refrigerator. They grab the alien corpse and just rip it out. They find a car. Kirk, have you been overcumbered in the wasteland yet where you had to crawl or drop something to get across the wasteland?
I have not been.
When you spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours walking around an area that you could drive across in just a minute at 60 miles an hour in a car, and you see they have a working car, and they're like, oh, dude, let's test this thing out. They get it outside and blow it away with a minigun.
Yeah.
So this episode is teaching you the mentality and the gruntness of who the Brotherhood is as the remnants of the U.S. military. It is laying the foundation for who. So we know that vault dwellers are very naive. We know that raiders are just junkies that are on all the, speed and junk, and they're just ruthless. We know that now. We know that the Brotherhood of Steel is just a bunch of grunts that just smash junk. They don't give a crap about all this other stuff. They're there to fight each other. It's okay for them to kill each other as long as there's a crowd. And they're there to dominate. And now they're talking about this power struggle with the Civil War. They're going to fight each other over power. So it's just laying the ground for you of who the Brotherhood is. This episode's huge. And honestly, Maximus is stuck between his friend that wants him to be different. And we all know Maximus didn't want to fight that guy, but his friend don't know that. And right after he had that conversation with him, he ends up killing the guy, and that's all they see. But we know Maximus is actually better than that. He's more like his dad, but he's also a soldier. He's getting more and more soldier-like. So there's a dilemma with Maximus's conflicting morality as well. A lot of conflicting moralities there. So what you're seeing right now is the directors are doing an amazing job at we don't know who's going to become what, and we don't know who we're going to be rooting for or not. Because I bet you there's a lot of people out there that don't like the Ghoul after he just slit dude's throat. And, so we don't know. We still don't know if the Ghoul just has Lucy as a prisoner and she can't get away because he's got a mission. We just do not know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I'm excited for the next episode, largely in part because I want to see how Lucy and how the Ghoul are doing, because we didn't really get to find out much after that. And then I'm very interested to see how Norm and the Vault Tech people are, how they move forward. I'm very excited to see that.
You're also going to see Norm be challenged in some way. These people are going to cross him. He's going to realize they're useless, or it's just going to go great. There's going to be a big conflicting thing. This is so great because I feel like they have walked us up a 100-foot diving board, and we're about to leap off the edge of it. And you're just not going to know where these guys are taking you because everyone knows Fallout is crazy. It's crazy.
Well, all right. I got. Either of y'all got anything else? That's it, Calvert. Kirk, you got anything?
No, that's all I got for this one.
Oh, I just got a message, Perk. I think it's for you. It says another settlement's in need of your help. Some Preston Garvey guy.
Oh man. Well, we really enjoyed it. Enjoyed doing a little Fallout episode. Next week, I'll give you another rundown just because if you didn't watch the last video, if you only come watch the Fallout videos, I'll give you a rundown. Next week, the 3 you see here will be the 3 that you get for the Fallout episode. And next week, rather than taking recommendations for our later week episode, we would be doing Breaking Bad. It is one of our all 3 favorite episode or favorite TV shows. So we thought, perfect time. Neil's going to be out of town. Might as well review one that he hasn't seen, but all 3 of us like. And we will also be back Monday for our normal Landman episode, or Tuesday. No, is it come out Monday?
We recorded it Monday. We put it out Tuesday.
Yeah, so it'll be out Tuesday, reacting to Landman. Excited for that one as well. That's going to do it, guys. We will we'll see y'all next week. Neil's not here, but whoozee!